So it's 2 days or so after the event now. I'm still processing everything and putting things away and kind of figuring out what I'm going to do outside of this for the next race I go to or when that is. I've got things to see and people to do. Got to get on with it. Will I be there for BK 2025? I'm already planning it since I left the track. So signs say yes. So yeah, overall, pretty, I'd say average for an event like this. It was fun. It was a blast. You know, how do you explain to someone to racing if you don't understand the feel of it behind the wheel, right? I mean, I get the same thrill in one of those cars as I've driving around a track in a Corvette or, just other simulations I've played with. It's racing. You feel that with the people you're racing with, and what you're learning off of them as well. Should you take on debt to go to a race like this? Absolutely not. Nope. This should be something that you can afford to do. Don't go out of your way to lose money on this. It's kind of a smiles per mile equation, right? What is it that, is invaluable to you in that regard? Now, if you have one of these tracks like this that's close to you, why are you not racing? That's the question I have, right? If you're in the area that's nearby, you're going to be having a blast doing it. You're going to learn about racing. You're going to be able to tune in these cars. They're like a real car. So if you like mechanics and that side of it, you're going to love that too. We love the engineering that goes behind them. We love being able to test how fast we can go around a track, what the limits are, the suspension deafening, all the science behind it. Before I took auto mechanics in high school, I learned about how vehicles worked from my first RC10 that I got as a spare parts bin that my cousin gave me. You learn the geometry of how suspension works, how physics work, center of gravity. These things that are embedded in every vehicle that we have that moves down the road. And hey, if you don't get racing, it's okay. It's more of a smart person sport anyway. It's crazy to think this is the 30th year that I've been in the RC hobby. As a hobbyist, as a racer, as a tinkerer. You don't stay in something like this just because you find it amusing for that long. You usually are driven in another direction because of that. Hey, anything worth doing is worth overdoing, right? Just know that there's a lot of us out here just love this hobby with a passion. Regardless of all the bad in the hobby, there's a lot of good, that the enjoyment you get out of it, to racing with competitors, to seeing what you can do. So back to this thing. This is a 22 4 2.0. And this is a great car. This is the car I raced, that black and yellow one back there. But it's heavy. And as you can tell here, this one's had some work done. It's a little lighter. It's got speed holes.
What you diddly doing, neighbor?
I'm putting speed holes in my car. Makes it go faster.
One of the drivers who races there locally. I've known him for several years now, more than several years. And he saw that I've been racing this car since I've been coming to the BK Classic. And I told him the biggest problem I have with the cars is that she's a heavy girl. She's a little heavy for a spec class motor. So then he shows up with this thing the other day and goes, here. And I was blown away. He was able to get the weight down of it. It's got all this cool purple anodizing screws to it. And he was telling me that he went to Brian's house to get these anodized, which I thought was pretty sweet. I think they're just standard J concepts, looking at it. I will be putting this to good use. Thank you. So, yeah, I was pretty pumped about the options of what this can do and what it can be. I can't believe I didn't even realize the tunnel for the cabling underneath. No! Yeah, I see a lot of potential in this car, and we'll see what we can do to maybe get that 22.4 even better for next year without losing any structural integrity.
It's a heap, but give me a couple of weeks and it'll look like a streamlined butterfly.
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped about this. So why put in 16-hour days? Why race old vintage cars? Why fly around the track to get an okay result? Why race? Why get up in the morning? Why brush your teeth? Why take the trash out? These are questions that mean something to you. Everyone races for different reasons. Over the hundreds of people who attended, there's only going to be 5 or 6 winners out of the classes. If it means that much to you, just go buy an award. Put it on your shelf. Give yourself a first place pat on the back. If you want the competitive side of it, you want to see how you match up and being able to fly around a track as fast as you want within your abilities, why wouldn't you? Sadly, Kinwald didn't have a funeral. This is the only way we get to celebrate the person that he was. He was just someone I grew up reading about in magazines and seeing his picture, like many of us. A lot of you may have met him directly and knew him a lot better than I did. I met him one time at a Top Gun race and asked him to sign something for me for a friend. I know what he's left on this industry. I dare say it a hobby, because I feel like it was much more serious than that for Brian. But for me, he represents the soul of RC. I get to be around people who did. And see what he's left for us. Out of all the events I get asked to, or get to chance to attend, this is the one that fell into my budget. Not only do I love racing the cars from yesteryear, but I also be able to push my car to the limits. I wouldn't be able to do it without the locals that were there. They really stepped up and answered my questions as soon as I showed up at the door. That's what makes it kind of awesome, because if you're showing up for the first time, you don't know what to do. You just ask, and they'll help you, which is kind of awesome. I didn't know what tires to run on it. That helped me out pretty quick. They're sharing parts back and forth if something comes up. That's what I liked about it. That was part of it. Also, for me, the vintage classes, everyone knows it's not exactly you can go and make something for your car or buy it off the shelf. Kind of parts are getting rare for some of these vehicles. So everyone tends to pass with care in the vintage class. It's some of the cleanest racing I've ever done in RC, and it's kind of awesome. It's kind of sad. It's one of the only sports where someone gets a wheel for the first time, they go as fast as they want without thinking about the repercussions. Do you get behind a wheel of a vehicle and just hold the throttle down and see what happens? No, because you don't want to end up as an accordion, right? So why do you do it in RC? Thank you again to the staff at Hobby Action. It felt like at the end of it, you guys were paying me, from looking at the proceeds of what I paid to what you guys gave me and the time that you put into it. It's awesome to see how you carry on for Mr. Kinwald, and trying to make this event as awesome as you can. It's kind of amazing to see the effort you put into these events from your passion. It shows. If you're in the Southwest United States, definitely think about it. Check it out. Yeah, there's some really fast guys there, but it's really concerned about what you can do on the track. Find the class that fits you, and what makes you race. What makes you drive all those hours in a full-size car to race a scaled-size race car around an indoor track for several days. If you liked it, let me know. If you hated it, let me know. What car would you take to this event? What car wouldn't you take to this event? What tires would have you ran? What parts would have you broke? What shirt would have you worn? Is there anything better than an OGO bag? Let me know. I need something with drawers that I can take around without getting on an airplane with. You think my head's too big? Put it down below. Who thinks they can beat me in Mario Kart? Will you bring out a vintage car to race next year? Thanks again to Hobby Action. Thanks everybody. We got to meet over the weekend. Thanks for everyone, the whole crew there at Hobby Action, put on an awesome event. Hope to see you again soon.
Yes, you put it succinctly.
Suck what?
Succinctly, it means perfectly.
Oh, yeah. May I do that?